everybody, this is Geo Joe. Today I am here with an overview video of GeoVision's AS Manager software, which is the software that can be utilized to manage GeoVision's access control platform. The AS Manager program is a free program for the first 4 controllers that you connect to your system. And if you go over 4 control panels, you do need to purchase a license. The maximum amount of control panels that can be supported by AS Manager are 1,000 controllers, whether that is a single door GeoVision control panel or even up to our 8-door control panels. So if you did 1,000 8-door control panels, the maximum numbers of doors that can be supported are 8,000 doors. Now, AS Manager is a software program that needs to be running on a PC. We do recommend dedicating a PC to run this on. You will not want to run this program on the same machine as the GeoVision's VMS or multicam software. But AS Manager is your software that allows you to manage your users, create schedules, and control doors. So I want to just give a basic overview of some of the main features of the AS Manager. Right here, you can see the home screen, where in the center of the screen, we have all the text data of who has presented their credential to a reader. Now, you'll see general information such as access denied, access granted, what door the person presented their credential at, whether it's an in or an outdoor, your date and time, the card number, and then also your user. Now, you can customize these fields as well. If you want to remove some of these, you can, or if you want to rearrange them, you do have the abilities to do that. So this is the first option that you have for viewing this data, would be in a text-based log, or there is also the ability to click this button here called Tiles, and now you can view it in a little bit different format. And this is where one of the big benefits of the GeoVision Access Control platform comes into play, and that is the video integration piece. If you are using a GeoVision VMS system or a multicam system for viewing cameras and recording cameras, you are able to integrate it in with the GeoVision AS Manager, and you can see snapshots of cameras when someone presents a card to a reader. So this is a huge benefit because it gives you an added layer of security to your facility. You now don't just have text data about who used a card or a fob to get in a door. You actually have video evidence of who used that card or fob. So again, that's an extra security feature, because what if somebody just found a credential laying on the ground somewhere and then they gained access to your facility? At least you now have video record of who that person was and what they look like. So that's illustrated also over here on the right side. Anytime that you are to click on one of your access control events, you will see the snapshot from the camera right here in this information tab. And then if you have the cardholder's pre-enrolled picture assigned to their credential, you'll have that pre-enrolled photo pop up right there next to the actual snapshot from the camera. So that gives you the ability to look at the pictures and compare and make sure it is the correct person. Some other things that you can do with video are live video feeds. So up here in the top right-hand corner, you can have a single channel feed dedicated if you want to displaying live video. This is very convenient if you ever have a security guard that is sitting and monitoring, because they can see a live feed of who may be at a door. Up here in the top left, you'll have all of your doors listed out. And if you click on a particular door, it will update that video feed to the camera that's associated with that door. Now, another thing that you can do as far as camera displays is a multi-view. So again, going back to our scenario where maybe you have a security guard that's sitting and monitoring multiple doors, you could actually display multiple cameras, up to 9 cameras here in a grid. And this can be resized if you need. So if you wanted to maybe drag the window up and make it a little bit larger or display it in a different area here within AS Manager, all of these windows can be moved around. And then if you want to take a closer look on one of the cameras, you can double click on it and it will bring it up here in a little bit larger view for you, as well as display it here in the top right. And again, you can drag these windows down if you wanted to and get a larger image. Now down here in the bottom in the multi-view window, once I click on that, I can also drag and move over to my other cameras that I have enrolled. And again, it just gives you the ability to interact with the cameras, see what's going on. or you can change down here to say a 2x2 or a 3x3. There's multiple options for how you can display the video. Last option related to video is playback. On this particular machine, I don't have it set up, but if you are recording the cameras, then you can also see the recorded video of when someone walked up and presented their credential to that reader. So the way that that would work is you would click on the event, and then right here in this blue section, you could hit play and it would play back the recorded image or the recorded video. Next up, door control. Here on the top left, you have all of your doors listed out, and this gives you the ability to control the lock state of the door. As you can see in this demonstration, all of my doors are in what's called card mode. That means they are on a schedule to where a user's credential would be presented to a reader to allow it to unlock the door or change the door's lock status. But if you need to manually change a door's lock status, you can right-click on it and you have a menu that comes up here. If you want, you can temporarily unlock the door by hitting unlock door, and that will just release the door and then it will automatically relock it after a few seconds. You can designate how many seconds you want that to unlock for. Next couple here are lockdown, force unlock, and force lock. So force unlock, let's say that you have an event going on at your facility and you want to just hold that door unlocked so people can freely come in and out of the building. You could hit force unlock and it would override your schedule. So that way anyone could just come through the door. The opposite of that, force lock. Let's say usually you have the door set up to unlock every day at 8 a.m., but maybe something's going on and you want to lock that door, but you still want users' cards to be able to get through the door. You could hit force lock and then it would set it up in a fashion where the doors are now locked, but you do have to have a credential to get through that door. Lastly, there is the option called lockdown. This is the highest level of security to where unless you designate a card that can get through the lockdown status, no cards can get through the lockdown doors. Okay, so again, this is for a high security threat type of scenario where you want to make sure that all doors or maybe an individual door is locked and it overwrites the schedule. And then users' cards cannot get through unless they were predetermined and set up with the lockdown card privilege. So if you hit lockdown, you'll see it updates right there. And now that door is in lockdown mode. And if you ever want to take it out of the lock status that you change it to, you can click again and then hit disable door lock operation and it puts it back in card mode. Now, aside from just controlling a single door, you can also control all doors on a panel. So right here, we have our AS2120 panel. And if I was to right click on that and hit lockdown, you can see it will now put all doors associated with that panel in the lockdown mode status. And then I can disable it again. And then lastly, if you want to do a complete lockdown of an entire facility, up here in the top left, it's going to have the name of the PC. We named this one AS Manager. So you could right click on that and you can hit force lock or lockdown and you'll see it puts every single door in that lock status. And of course, you just use your disable door lock operation and it'll put it back in your normal state. Next up, I'd like to show adding users. So that's typically done right here in the personnel section. So if you click on that, you can go in and hit users and you'll have a window that comes up. We've got about 10 or so users here that we've already enrolled. But if you want, you can hit new. And this gives you the ability to manually type in a new user. So you would input all of their data in here. There's a lot of different fields that you can fill out. Even if you click on, say, like the home or business or user defined tabs, you have the ability to really input a lot of data related to the person that you're enrolling. But at the very minimum, you'll want to do a first and last name. So let's just say if I want to create one, I'm just going to call it test 1. And you can change your display. So maybe if you want to do first, last, or whatever, you can do that. You can also give them an employee ID here, change their gender option. You can choose the birth date of the person. And then this is where you can actually select a headshot to associate with the person to where it'll pop up when they present their card to the reader. So if I click there, it will let you navigate within Windows. And you would just go in and find your picture of the person, click on it, and then it would go ahead and bring in that headshot for that person. Once you get all your information about the person here, you can then associate a card with them. Right here in the card section, if you click the plus sign, you have a couple options. Add a new card and then add existing cards. So if you hit add a new card, this gives you the ability to just fresh add in a brand new card that you took out of a box. You could type in the card number if you'd like right here. Or if you have a GeoVision enrollment reader, you could just tap the card on that enrollment reader and it will auto-populate your card number right there. Now, you do have the ability to do an activation and deactivation date. So let's say, for example, I know that this employee is starting next Monday, the 26th. I can go ahead and set their activation date for that, and their card will not work up until that period. And then on the other side of the spectrum, let's say, for example, you have a temporary employee that's only going to be with you for a couple weeks. You could set a deactivation date to where that card would be no longer active after a specific period of time. So let's say I want to go in and set them for January 2nd as their deactivation date. So this just gives you the ability and the peace of mind that your card is only going to be active during a certain period. Down below, this is where you can assign an access group to a user. Typically, the access groups are going to be set up by an installation company, whoever installs the access control equipment and puts the AS Manager software on your PC. So they'll create an access group and give it a name. This will be based on the information that you give them related to, okay, what group of people are going to get this front door access from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or these managers are going to get 24-hour access. You're going to give them all of the criteria to go by. They'll create these access groups. And then as you click on one of the access groups from the dropdown, you'll notice over here on the right, it will update to give the user access to those specific doors with the cleaning crew schedule, for example. And then the other doors, they are restricted on. So once you hit OK, that card number would be associated with that user. The other option is if you already have your card numbers pre-enrolled into the system, you can hit add existing cards. And you'll notice all of your card numbers right here. You can then double click on one of the cards and it would assign it to that user. And then you'd hit OK, and then your user would appear back here. Now, one other option that you can do is you can import users. So let's say, for example, you have an Excel file or a CSV with all of your employees listed on it. You can import that into the AS Manager software rather than just manually entering in all of your users. Another very convenient feature of the GeoVision AS Manager software is the ability to integrate GeoVision license plate recognition cameras. If you'll notice here at the top, we have a tab that's called LPR Monitor. So if I click on this, I can now see license plate recognition results. This does require GeoVision license plate recognition cameras, but it gives you the ability all in one software to be able to manage both your door access as well as license plate recognition cameras. Now, as you can see here in the center window, we have the recognized plate number right next to a snapshot. So every time a vehicle would drive by the camera, it's going to take a snapshot from that camera, and then it will put the recognition result right below it with a date and timestamp. This can be used in an access control manner. If you wanted to automate gates based on certain license plates or set off alarms if an unwanted plate is seen, for example, you can set up all of that information right here in the AS Manager software and trigger real-time alerts or open gates when certain vehicles are seen. Now, in addition to the center column over here on the right, you do, of course, have your snapshot where I can scroll over. I can see that snapshot. I can click on it, and it will bring me up a larger image there. I can even click and zoom and see that plate a little bit better. And then in the top right-hand corner, similar to the access control window, you do have a license plate recognition live video window as well. So again, it does give you the ability to manage both door access control as well as LPR all under one roof. Now, lastly, the thing I would like to show today is a remote management tool called AS Web. This gives users the ability to not have to be at the actual AS Manager PC, and you could be remote on your laptop or your desktop and be able to manage all of your access control. So again, this is a web-based utility called AS Web. And this will open up in a browser. And you can pretty much do everything in AS Web that you could do if you were on AS Manager. So when you open it up, this is icon based. And for example, you've got your user list right here. If I click on that, I can full screen this. I have all of my users right here. I can add a user. And this operates exactly like it does as if you were on the AS Manager software itself. So you can go in here and put in your information. You can hit the card button to add an existing or a new card. And again, this is the exact same process of what we did on the AS Manager software. You can also remotely delete a user. So let's say, for example, you let an employee go and you need to delete them out of the software, but maybe you're at home. You're not actually at the facility where you've got the AS Manager running. So this does give you the ability to remotely delete a user out of the access control system. Access log, this is where you can go in and you can look at all of your log data. So let's say that you need to do a search and see when people came through the facility and what time, and you want to run a report. So over here on the left-hand column, you do have a filter that you can search by. If you click the date period and you click a specific option, let's say, for example, this week or last week, you can also go in and search by certain users. So if you click the drop down, you'll see your different users and you could click and search by that user, or you could leave it blank and you could just do a general search. And once you do that, it gives you all of your text data here. Any of the ones with a snapshot icon, you can hover over and it will show you that actual snapshot. Or if you were recording the footage, you'll see a film strip here that you could click on and then play back that recorded footage. Now, once you have found all of the information that you're looking for, you can actually export this as a report. So here in the top right-hand corner, there's an export button, and there's a few different options that you can choose from. I personally recommend the PDF option because this gives you the ability to export not only the text data, but also the snapshot of the camera from when somebody presented the card to the reader. Now, when you hover over the PDF option, you'll see there's all or this page. What this allows you to do is, let's say you have a lot of results and it spills over onto another page. Maybe you have like 4 pages of data. You can choose whether you want to back up all pages or just the current page that you're on. The Monitor tab allows you to go in and monitor the current access control data. So if I click Access Log, I see the list here of all of the recent card swipes. And again, I can hover over and see a picture of who presented the credential. I can click on it, and then over on the right, we have that data as well. And again, you can scroll through here and you could look at all of your information. Here would be the pre-enrolled headshot. Here would be the snapshot from the camera. And in the top left-hand corner, you still, even though you're remote, have the ability to right-click on the doors and control that door's lock status, just as if we were on site with the AS Manager software. So there's a lot of other features here within AS Web and AS Manager, but this is just a basic overview of the AS Manager and AS Web software. For further information on our product line, please check us out at www.geovision.com.tw/US. Thanks a lot for watching.